61 years ago, on the corner of Lyndhurst and West 25th, Speedway High School was constructed. And about a few hundred yards back, a football field was constructed as well. That is where the Speedway Sparkplugs will begin their reign here in Southeast Indianapolis. And tonight, for the final time, we sign off from Johnson Field on the campus of Speedway High School. Good evening, everyone. My name is John Natale, and I am quite humbled to be on the broadcast on SCTV to give you the final home contest here on Johnson Field on the campus of Speedway, as it's the Sparkplugs playing host to the Lutheran Saints. Now, it's not going to be an easy trek for the Sparkplugs, as they're hosting 3 consecutive times state champion winner Lutheran Saints, coming off 21, 22, and 23. And Coach Dave Pash has his Saints at 7-1 this year. Did have a little trip up against Triton Central, but nonetheless, when it comes to sectional time, Coach Pash and his troops get ready to go, and I'm sure they'll make another run to a title this upcoming season. Now you got to look at the Sparkplugs side. A lot of emotion at Johnson Field this evening. The crowd is full on our side of the field, and a lot of talk has been going around campus all week. And just basically up until this contest, as you can see, the Sparkplugs take the field mighty and proud in their brown uniforms with the brown and yellow trim, white helmets, and the brown Sparkplug logos. And they're going to get ready to go. It's going to be really a real big uphill battle against these Lutheran Saints, but you never know. You have to play the game, and that emotion could maybe wear a little heavy on the Saints and could be in favor of the Sparkplugs. But we have 48 minutes of football to figure that all out. Couple keys to the game. First for Lutheran Saints is ride the momentum. You're a 3-time consecutive state champion. You have more under your belt, and you're riding high. You're coming into here. You don't want to get tripped up, so you want to keep that going. But it's second for them, as they just got to block out the noise. I'm sure they've heard all week that this was the closing day here at Johnson Field, and that a lot of people would be out there. Be a lot of emotions riding high on the Speedway sideline. So if they can block that out and play the football that Dave Pash knows how to teach those kids how, it's going to be maybe a long evening for the Sparkplugs. On the other side, for the Sparkplugs, it's use this emotion. It's a big crowd. It's your final game here on a stadium that has stood up for 61 years. Brand new facility coming for the 2025 season. We have seen pictures of it. We have heard about it. It looks fantastic, but you have to close the deal here tonight in order to go out riding high into the sunset in this conference. On the second, you have to ignore the other side. It's Lutheran. They have won state championships over and over and over again. Dave Pash has a great ball club over there. You have to play your football. You have to spread it out. Coach Clampett likes to spread things out, use his big quarterback to dunk and dink passes, open up the running game, put some long shots down the field. So if he can do that and kind of get Lutheran on their heels early, they could put in a fight to these Saints. So we had the coin toss at midfield. It's a beautiful night here on October 11th. A little warmer today. It was quite cool this week. And actually last night in the girls' soccer match against Beech Grove, in which they won 7-0 and will advance to the sectional number 28 final tomorrow at 2 o'clock against the Roncalli Royals. It was chilly. People had their blankets on, bringing out the big North Face puffer coats. Almost seemed like a real cool, crisp evening. Not so much here tonight. Just a little bit warmer, but no rain around. The unfortunate aftermath of both hurricanes have since passed through here. But our thoughts and prayers are with all those people who have been affected by all those storms on the East Coast. Lutheran won the toss, and they'll elect to kick, so they'll receive in the second half. Speedway's got to get going early. Connor Moreland has to use that big frame. back on the field, which is a great thing for Speedway, is number 15, J. Ron Smith. Very familiar with him as number 8, but Unfortunately, when he had his injury a few weeks ago, they had to cut his jersey. So he had to switch over to J-Ron's to 15. But it's good to see that young man back on the field. And as always, number 3, Jazz Coleman, really the glue of this Sparkplugs offense. If he can get going, that offense will go, and end over end kick, and we're underway here for the final time at Speedway. And that'll bounce in the end zone, and we'll bring it out, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Sparkplugs. The key here to getting through this Lutheran defense is to switch it up. You can't go all on the ground. You can't throw it all in the air. And as it always is, it's kind of a darned if you do it, darned if you don't say it, but you just have to eliminate turnovers. If you can keep the ball in your hands, it gives you a much better shot. So Moreland starts in the gun. He'll hand it off straight up the middle and really nowhere to go. It's J-Ron Smith. So they'll keep it at no gain. We'll bring up 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 for Speedway on the 20-yard line.
The junior Xander Sears in on that stop. Moreland in the gun. Motion man now set on the right. And a handoff up the middle. And to about the 25, so a 5-yard gain. Bring up a much more manageable 3rd and 5 from the 25. You'll be hearing it all night long. The 501st Regiment led us in our national anthem prior to this one. Directed by Amy Mole. 3rd and 5, just underway here at Speedway. Moreland drops back, looks over the middle, has a man, dump and dink, and breaks a tackle on the outside, and just right tripped up before midfield, but not before a big gain. To name Ahar. Good chunky yardage on that play. And Speedway moving the ball quickly here. Good play on 3rd and 5. Be 1st and 10 on Speedway's 47. You'll see Moreland from the shotgun the majority of this match. And now drops back. Arm got hit. And we'll see what they call that, and that's going to go the other way. So it looks like the ball was knocked out of his hand before he got to throw it. He was cocking back to release it, but that ball was knocked out of his hands. And right after the big play, it's a turnover, and the Saints will now line up across midfield in Speedway territory on the 43, so the momentum shifts right to Lutheran. That'll give the senior Jackson Willis a chance to operate. Thrown for just over 1,800 yards this season. Hand off straight up the middle, and good gang tackle around the 40-yard line, gain of 3. Be 2nd and 7 from the 40. A little misdirection, but good tackle just past the line of scrimmage. DeMarco Wilson had the carry. Dawson Ott came up and stopped him just after a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and 6 from the 39. Willis in the gun. Drops back. Southpaw throws it left down the field. And in and out of the hands. Maybe have gotten a hand on it from Cameron Biggs. Good coverage on the far side of the field. And 3 and out. Looks like the punt team's coming on for Coach Dave Pash and his Saints. So 4th and 6 from the 39. Dax Locklear back on his 45. And the snap is back. It's up off the side of his foot. And not a very good punt there. Rolls out at about the 20, well, let's call it the 23-yard line. So after the turnover, the defense holds to force Lutheran to a 4 and out. Then the offense will come back on board for Speedway and try to right the ship. Now Moreland under center. Hands it off up the middle. The line pushing. Kind of a rugby scrum. Give him 3 on the carry, so it'll be 2nd and 7. Moreland back under center. Coach Clampett changing it up a little bit. Now straight up the middle. Just following those big horses up front. Gets to the 30-yard line. Rayshon McCaney on the stop, and he's a big fella. 6'7" is number 76. Moreland rolling near side, has a man downfield, and there should be a flag there. And we will not see one. It looks like Cameron Biggs got tangled up with Isaiah Jones, but no flag called. So a quick 4 and out for Speedway. Nathan Chapman, the freshman, will be handling the punting duties today for the Sparkplugs. On his 16, gets it away off the side of his foot, and that sails out to the far side. So not a very good punt there. So far, special teams not being very effective for either squad. That's going to be on the Speedway side of the field for the Saints, so they'll start with good field position again. And you can see in front of us here, not sure what this is, but might be the cutest thing I'll see tonight. Our junior Sparkplugettes, I don't know, I'm making things up now. But good to see the community out in full here. And that ball dropped on a dime. Willis put it in one spot. And Javaria Cooper ran underneath it for a big gain on first down. That'll move the Sticks to the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Saints. Willis, big frame, 6'3". The senior, number 10. Now the handoff to the right side, cuts back into the middle. DeMarco Wilson. Jazz Coleman on the stop for the Sparkplugs. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6. Spread formation for the Saints. Willis in the gun. Wilson in his back pocket. Handoff to Wilson, straight up the middle. And he's got running room, and he's going to cross the line for 6. So out of the 5-receiver set, they just hand it off to number 5, DeMarco Wilson, and takes it up the middle. And those are the first points of the evening. Give it to DeMarco Wilson. That's his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. Dax Locklear will set up for the extra point. Snap is back, kick is up, and the kick is good. So just over 6 minutes left to play in the first quarter. The Saints strike first on a touchdown run by DeMarco Wilson, his 11th of the season. And Speedway will have to respond. It's really something when you look at that front 5 of Lutheran. The sizes of those kids. It's been mentioned Rayshon McCaney, 6'7", 250. Samuel Cohn, 6'1", 255. Owen Lecker, 6'2", 215. Davis Blankenship, probably the smallest of the bunch at 5'11", but still comes in at 225. And then Logan Knirk, number 77. At 6'5", 230. So those tackles, over 13 feet of tackle on the field for the Saints. So the lineup kickoff, end over end. And that one will find the end zone. So Dax Locklear has a good foot on him. Put it in the end zone twice on the opening kickoff. And right there after the score. So Speedway will take over at their 20-yard line. Sparkplugs are going to need to find a formula here to get something going against the Saints. Had the one big play on the far side of the field to Neymar Har. And outside of that, they've been pretty quiet. Let's see what Coach Shane Clampett dials up here. And the ball's on the ground, and Moreland has to fall on it right away. He does, but it'll be a short loss on a play of 1. So that'll bring up 2nd and 11. Moreland under center. There's a snap, play action. Finds a hole, looks downfield, and in and out of the hands of Lucas DeVault. That was pretty good coverage from Landon Hazelwood. But DeVault had a chance on it, just couldn't collect it. Now it's a long 3rd and 12. Dangerous territory here for the Sparkplugs. Moreland back in the gun. Looks over the middle, and it's high. Intended for Cameron Biggs. And there's a penalty on the field. Be holding on the Sparkplug, so let's see what Dave Pash wants to do. Will he decline it? And he does. So the punting unit will come on for the second time. Nathan Chapman for his second punt. Hazelwood and Cooper back deep for the Saints. And there was a hand that got on that ball and takes a bounce, goes the other way. It's going to be right around the 40-yard line. So again, the Saints will start on the Sparkplug side of the field for the third time in their drives. Had a turnover to start. And then the first punt didn't make it past the midfield line. And then this one takes a bounce back just a skosh above the 40. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the Saints.
1st and 10 from the Saints on the 40-yard line.
Willis and Wilson, the backfield. Wilson tries to get to the outside and kind of got, sure, it was Wilson. And I think he's got a shoelace, but there was a penalty on the play. May have been movement on the Saints backfield. Was, I believe that was on DeMarco Wilson. Left a little early. On that handoff. So 5-yard penalty. 1st and 15 from the Sparkplugs 45. Willis, pocket, some pressure. Rolls to the near side. He's going to get wrapped up and not really taken down. He's a big frame to get, but nonetheless. Give the sack to the senior, Tahiba Shola. That's a big student athlete to block. 6'3", 230, busted through the line. Chased Willis down. It was hard. He didn't get Willis down, but stopped the forward momentum for a 10-yard loss on the play. So for the first time, the Saints line up in their territory. And here's a handoff to Wilson. Gets to the 50. Good open field tackle. Zita Shola. Good looking kid, just a sophomore. Came up from his safety position. So it's 3rd and a country mile. 3rd and 20. Right at the half line. On a gorgeous October 11th. The final game from Johnson Field here on the campus of Speedway Senior High School. Wilson straight up the middle, breaks a tackle, but lost his footing. J-Ron Smith came up for the tackle, and that'll bring up Dax Locklear. Line up around his 40. His second punt of the evening. He's done well on his kickoffs, putting 2 into the end zone, but his last punt, not very good. We'll see if he can get a good one here. High booming punt. And that's fielded at the 11 to the outside and get to about the 20-yard line. So return of 9 on the play. The Sparkplugs will come out again, trying to find any momentum possible to try to cut through this Saints defense. Just over 2:30 left here in the first quarter. 7-0 Saints. And a touchdown run by DeMarco Wilson. And a pitch out to the near side. And good cut back into the middle. Close to a first down. We'll see where they mark it. It's Jazz Coleman. And they'll move the sticks. So nice gain on the first down play to move them. They'll just move it up 10. It will be 1st and 10 from the Speedway 30. And the offense looks much different when Moreland operates from the gun than he does under center. Here's going stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Does manage to fall forward, but there will be no gain. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Can the Speedway offense get the Saints defense on their heels? Little pitch out to the far side. Biggs trying to get to the outside. He does. Gets past the first down marker and gets more. And pushed out of bounds right before the half field marker. And they'll mark that at the 45. Nonetheless, a gain of 15. 1st and 10 for the Sparkplugs from the 45. Cameron Biggs has that speed to accelerate. He showed it right there on the 15-yard carry. Moreland, play action, in trouble, and taken down from behind, and a hat came off. And that student athlete will have to come off the field for a play. A loss of 5 on that. That was Moreland who lost his cap, so he'll have to come off for a play. And situate himself. Hope he's okay.
2nd and 15 for the Sparkplugs on the 40-yard line.
So 2nd and 15 from the 40 after the 5-yard loss. And a direct snap straight up the middle. Gain of about 3. Moreland will re-enter. He's okay. Game clock is just ahead of the play clock, but here's a run up the middle. Coleman, he's got some room. Can he break this tackle? Cannot, but a huge gain for Jazz Coleman. Far into Saints territory, down at the 25. And that'll wrap up the quarter, but not before some good momentum from the Sparkplugs on the handoff to Jazz Coleman. Give him the 26-yard line. But a first down and much more. And at the end of the first quarter, the Saints got on the board, but Sparkplugs hanging in there, and they'll go to the second quarter with good momentum on the big run by Jazz Coleman. It's Lutheran up 7-0 against the Speedway Sparkplugs. John Natali here along with the crew at SCTV. The final broadcast here at Johnson Field. 61 years has gone into this facility. And even though a lot of memories, take a couple looks around, and 61 years hasn't aged the best, but a lot of quality football has been played here. A lot of great athletes have walked on that field. A lot of great students have walked through these halls while games were being played through those 61 years. There's a lot of people up in this press box who walk these halls as well, who have been a part of the Speedway community for a long, long time. Now, the program actually goes back to 1940. This particular field, called Johnson Field because of Ralph Johnson, began the first football program back in 1940. And way back when, I feel like I should be on a porch with an iced tea telling this story, but they were six-man teams. Now here's a handoff. Trying to get to the outside, does break a tackle. Wow, great run after breaking a tackle. It was J-Ron Smith. That's why they like having him back in uniform. It looked like he was dead in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage, broke a tackle. Able to get about 7 or 8 on that carry. Be second and third. Called a long 2. Moreland, the pitch outside to J-Ron Smith, cuts it back in, and got held up. Joseph Luna Nix was able to hold on to his shoe, but Smith was able to power forward for an extra couple yards and get the first down, so it'll be 1st and 10. At the Lutheran 15. Sparkplugs moving the football. As mentioned in the first quarter, you can see that the Sparkplugs offense much more efficient with Moreland to come. Here's a run up the middle, and that's going to be 6. Jazz Coleman, the Swiss Army knife of the Sparkplugs offense, went straight up the middle, broke a few tackles, and was able to punch it in. Give him 15 yards on the carry, but most importantly, put the first touchdown on the board for the Sparkplugs. 7-6. Joey Havlin on for the extra point. Joey, a dual sport athlete here at Speedway, also a member of the boys soccer team. Kick is up, and the kick is good, and we are tied at 7s. Just underway here in the second quarter. So a very efficient drive from the Sparkplugs. Ate up some clock, kept it on the ground. Both J-Ron Smith and Jazz Coleman did all the majority of the work for the Sparkplugs to tie this thing at 7. Now the defense will have to counter that. So they've done a pretty decent job so far. This Lutheran offense can put up some points really fast. You probably saw the struggle last week that Speedway had against Monrovia, and Lutheran 49-14 over Monrovia. But that emotion and the feel inside Johnson Field today, or this evening, a lot different than it's been in times past. Is this game going to make or break a division conference title for the Sparkplugs? Absolutely not. But boy, would these young student athletes love to close this thing out with a W over the back-to-back-to-back state champion Indianapolis Lutheran Saints. Short kick. That may have touched a hand. They'll have to retreat. Now backpedaling. Gang tackle at about the 15. So that turned into a great opportunity for the Sparkplugs. So the defense make their way back onto the field. 10:40 left in the first half on a gorgeous October 11th Friday night here in Speedway, Indiana. From the gun, quick out, but over the middle, has some room to run. Breaking tackles and now cuts to the outside. And this could go to distance. Straight down the middle. In pursuit, and one play, one touchdown. LJ Ward caught it over the middle after about a 6-yard completion and did the rest. Call it 85 yards on the touchdown completion. So talk about the momentum going right out of the balloon on that offensive play, one touchdown, 85 yards out. Willis to Ward. That's Ward's 5th touchdown of the season. The extra point is good, so quicker than you can take a breath. The Saints come back and put 7 more on the board and put the lead back to 7, 14-7. Not sure if there was a broken coverage there or not. But once Ward got into the open field, he was gone. Well, the Sparkplugs will just have to take a deep breath. And they were playing down 7 before they got their first score. Now they have to do it again. So wrap it up, put that one in the back pocket, and let's go out there and let's get 6. Showed good efficiency on the last drive between Smith and Coleman. Smith and Coleman back deep. Locklear kicked this off for the 3rd time. He's put it in the end zone twice. And 3 for 3. Bring this one out to the 20. 1st and 10 for the Sparkplugs. The Sparkplug team looking for win number 529 in this field's history. And here's a handoff straight up the middle. Runs into a bunch of white and brown jerseys. We'll see where they mark it. Logan Knurk on the stop. 6'5", 230, just a sophomore. There's a penalty on the play. It was holding against Speedway. That'll back him up even further. So now it's 1st and 20 from their own 10. Dangerous territory here. Moreland steps up in the pocket, over the middle, and just off the fingertips. J-Ron Smith got a paw on it, but just couldn't bring it in. 2nd and 20. Moreland, short pass. Good run after the catch. And all down the reception. Gain of just over 10. I'll give him 11 on it. So 3rd and 9 from just inside the 21. It's a long 9. Moreland in the flat, caught with about 6 white jerseys right around that football after the completion. Loss of 3 on the play, and that'll bring up the punting unit. They got to get a good punt away here. It's going to give the Saints great field position. There it is, off the side of his foot. Takes sort of a Speedway bounce to about the 47-yard line. So the Saints set up again in Speedway territory, this time heading the other way. Last time on the football was a quick strike. Willis to Ward, 85 yards. It's about a 7-yard completion and then 78 yards of pure hustle from L.J. Ward. And wrapped up in the backfield once again. And they have a hard time bringing Willis down, but they got him again deep in the backfield. Corey Midget got in the backfield. Number 51, you can see him there wearing the yellow sleeves. As long as you wrap him up and he can't go anywhere, doesn't matter if you bring him down or not. Stops momentum. Big sack on the play. It's a 2nd sack for the Sparkplugs in this one. They have a player down. Been talking about the ending of an era here at Speedway and Johnson Field, 1963 through 2024. But the new facility is going to be something to behold. I want to call it will be the most prestigious facility in Speedway, but there happens to be some sort of racetrack that holds its ground here in the city of Speedway. That's pretty popular, but it's going to be something else. We may have athletic director Dan Maple up here during the broadcast, and I know his new athletic office in there, and everybody's teasing him that they're building him a new athletic office with a football stadium around it. It's going to be able to hold about 2,500, which is a very good size for a high school stadium. new lights, LED lights that you're starting to see pop up all across fields, no matter where it is, softball, baseball, football. Those will go in. It's going to have a synthetic turf. So football, soccer will have a part of it, the music department. It'll host youth programs all across the city. And it's not long before the end of this one that the Dozers will come in, and you feel like taking a piece of grass at the end. I don't think anybody's going to be upset with you. But that'll be the end. The Dozers will come in and start the demo. And it'll be ready for the beginning of the 2025 season. Be interesting to see. It might be already done, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see who the first team to be hosted here at the new stadium will be. So we're back underway. And off to the far side. Breaks a tackle now to the middle. And pushed in the back. DeMarco Wilson was pushed forward for about an extra 3-4 yards. Penalty in the backfield. We'll see what this is on. And we're going to have a hold on Lutheran. So bring this one back 10 yards. That's going to bring up second and a long 24. Ball at the Lutheran 45 after the penalty. Willis still playing in the gun, hasn't been under center yet. And Wilson pretty much control that backfield. We'll have another flag, some movement. Well, nope. We will have a timeout. Dave Pash wanted to think it over. So he'll bring his troops to the sideline, and everybody will retreat to Shane Clampett on the near side sideline to discuss the defensive formation. Just about a week ago, his station manager, television manager for SCTV, Brian Pierce, myself, Dan Maple, all sat down, and we got to hear about all the new renderings here at Speedway, and we couldn't help, Brian and I, look at each other with little smirks on our faces, and oh wow, this is going to be exciting. It's just going to be one heck of a thing to see, just the whole process. There's going to be some documentation of the stadium being built from the demo through final completion, courtesy of SCTV. They have some amazing equipment over there. Brian does an amazing job, him and his crew.
For the halftime presentation to Johnson Field, we greatly appreciate it.
That time, I'm definitely looking forward to it as well. I was always those kids playing with the Tonka trucks in the dirt. So when those things come in, I'm going to be up here too. But we still have some football to play tonight. Willis drops back, fires a long ball, far side. And that was caught. What a catch on the far side of the field. You had a whole sideline hold their breath on the Speedway sideline, including myself. And that came down right in the hands. Again, Willis with a pinpoint pass down the far side of the field. Long gain, 1st and 10 for the Saints. Handoff far side, tries to bake the edge, gets about 3 or 4 on the carry.
Marco Wilson on the carry. Pushed out of bounds by number 15 and Kieran Smith.
Kind of what you want to do, even though Wilson has the good speed. If you can force him to the edges, your best bet's just to knock him out of bounds, because you saw what he can do towards the middle of the field if he breaks a seam, which he did on his first touchdown. A 4-yard gain to be 2nd and 6. And that pass to the outside breaks a tackle, and he'll waltz in. LJ Ward with his 2nd touchdown of the evening. And that puts the Saints up 20-7, extra point pending. The kick is up, and it's good. So the Saints extend the lead to 14 now. For the first time this evening that Sparkplugs will be facing a 14-point deficit. So the offense has some work to do. And the Saints starting to use that size and power to their advantage. Might be slowing down the Sparkplugs team just a little bit. And what's tough about that Lutheran offense is that they can do it both ways. They can hit you with the quick strike, which we saw on the first touchdown to LJ Ward. 85 yards on that touchdown, but then on just that drive, just a methodical, a run here, 4 or 5 yards here and there, and then a touchdown strike. Wear some clock, but wear out that defense. And the offense has to put something together, a drive to keep that defense fresh. The more that they're on the field, no matter how hard they try, they're going to get tired, they're going to get wobbly legs, and that's the last thing you can do against a big team like Lutheran. Locklear, kickoff for the 4th time. He's put it in the end zone all 3 times. Off his right foot, number 2. And this one is fielded just in front of the goal line. To the outside towards us. Smith. Just past the 20 to about the 23, 24-yard line. We'll call it the 23. And the Sparkplugs will go to work. 1st and 10. Down 14 here with 7:20 left in the first half. Lutheran got the scoring off early. It was DeMarco Wilson on a run up the middle for the first touchdown. Speedway answered back. Jazz Coleman got in the end zone. But then 2 touchdowns back-to-back to LJ Ward. And another holding penalty on Speedway. We had our keys to the game at the beginning, and for as many games as I've done and my colleagues and everybody that I know, one thing you really don't hear about in keys to the game is eliminate the penalties, because it just seems that's such a natural part, but it's such a mental state, and boy, can it hurt you. And it has hurt the Sparkplugs offense. To start off 1st and 20 rather than 1st and 10, now you're managing, trying to get chunks of yardage, and by the time you do, you're still 3rd and long. So the mental mistakes starting to creep up on Speedway as well. It could be an adrenaline thing, it could be an energy thing, it could be your opponent. As we mentioned in the keys to the game, playing to the hype of Lutheran in back-to-back-to-back state championships. Moreland rolls out, far side, slings it to the right. Intended for Cameron Biggs. Far over his head. Just like that, it's 3rd and 18. So where you could have right now, 3rd and 8, much more manageable. Not an easy yardage to pick up, 8 yards, but much more manageable in 3rd and 18. I don't think there's many plays in Coach Clampett's playbook that are loaded up for 3rd and 18, but if there's one in there, got to dial it up now, but you got to be careful because you're still deep in your territory. Here's Moreland, looking near side, now in trouble, still in the pocket, rolls far side now, slings it to the right. Receiver came back, but in and out of the hands. And the offense stalls again. Freshman Nathan Chapman probably getting more work than anticipated this evening. See if he can get a good one off here. Most special teams plays that the Saints have, and that ball he just got that away. Takes another good bounce on the soccer style kick, and that will roll into Lutheran territory on their own 45, but boy, that was close. Now let's see what kind of gas that the defense has left in them. They've been out there a long time, and that big offensive front of the Saints starting to crack down on the smaller yet quick Sparkplugs defensive line. Handoff up the middle, and good rapid tackle. It's after about a yard. Zeta Shola came up. Mentioned good-looking kid, sophomore. I would like to see that. I'd like to see freshmen. You can talk about Nathan Chapman, just a freshman, the punter. Shola, just a sophomore. A little misdirection. And Wilson pushed out of bounds just before midfield. Shola again. And they'll call it midfield, just a skosh in front of it. Saints territory. 3rd and 5. Willis in the gun. Tried to go to hard count. And Coach Clampett going to call a timeout, see if he can't dial something up to stop this Saints offense. 2 straight touchdowns, both to LJ Ward, both touchdown passes from Willis. So give Willis 24 touchdowns on the season now. LJ Ward increases his total to 6 in the air. Everybody's still in good spirits, though. It's a real nice crowd on hand for the final home game here at Speedway for the Sparkplugs. Cheerleaders out in full force. The fans have shown up. And a few emotions. I'm not from Speedway, but as I was walking in, I could see some hugging going on and some friendships reborn. Reintroducing themselves after so many years. A lot of alumni here tonight. Players that have shared this field teachers alike who were around many years ago, cheerleaders, coaches, just whole group of different aspects of this Speedway High School program have shown up tonight for the final home game. Someone who else has shown up with a full head of steam has been DeMarco Wilson. He just continues to run downhill, and he drags defenders with him. That's good for a first down. Wilson again ran into the back of his own man. Penalty comes in late. And we'll have a holding, so that'll push it back 10 yards. Just over 5 minutes left here in the first half. After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 20 from the Speedway 44. Willis in the gun. And handoff. Wilson cuts it back into the middle. That's where he's been most effective. He'll get wrapped up, maybe get to the 40. Bring up 2nd and 15 from the 40. I'll call it the 41. Give him 5 on the carry. Still 2nd and long. Sparkplugs could use a good stop here. Use the gain of limited. Willis now. There's that floater down the sideline, and good defense. No. I was looking for it. I heard a bunch of people yell. I didn't see the flag, but then my producer, Brian Pierce, waved it in my face, and as I saw everybody moving forward, that'll be against the Sparkplugs. Those are, just mentioned penalties not too long ago, and when it's a free first down on pass interference, those are just tough ones to overcome. Now Wilson trying to get to the outside, put his head down, was able to break a tackle, and then I believe he made his way past the first down marker, and they'll move the chains. So Wilson was met about 2-3 yards past the line of scrimmage, but he won that battle and was able to pick up a first down. Saints back in the red zone, looking to go up 28-7 here before halftime. And straight up the middle. Just short. You could hear our PA announcer not very enthusiastically calling that a touchdown. We were all kind of looking up from up here. Not the best view from the press box here, but DeMarco Wilson punched it in for his 2nd touchdown of the evening. And that puts the Saints up 27-7 pending the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So for a country second, it was tied And then Lutheran has rattled off 21 unanswered. And with 3:22 left in the first half, it's 28-7. Sparkplugs offenses really haven't found a groove yet, any consistency on the offensive end. There was that drive that they were utilizing Smith and Coleman, which were good, but really haven't gone back to that game plan. But at the same time, when the Saints get the football, they keep it on the ground. They'll have a chunk yardage play here and there. And then it's lights out as they find the end zone pretty quick. And doing what great teams do, they're starting to put the rotors in the water and sail away with this thing. 28-7. Hard thing for young student athletes, and I go back to my playing days in a few sports, is it's very easy to hang your head at this point. Find yourself down 3 touchdowns to a very, very good opponent. You think about the atmosphere, you think about what stands on the emotional side of this game, but you have to play all 48 minutes regardless. That ball will sail into the end zone, so that'll come out to the 20. And the Sparkplugs will try to answer. 21-0 unanswered by the Saints here after it was tied at 7s. Moreland looking near side. Fires, has Coleman. Shoveled a little bit, able to bring it in, just short of a first down. Second and a long 2. Low snap. But Moreland able to get it into the hands of Jerron Smith. And he will plunge his way forward for a first down. 77, Logan Knerk on the stop. And out to the flat, good redirection, but then kind of ran horizontal, not vertical there. Jazz Coleman, give him a few yards on the second yard play. Be 2nd and 7. Coming up on 2 minutes left in the first half. Moreland in the pocket, flushed out to the far side. That ball is incomplete, and I'll be 3rd and long. Clock stops. So I'm sure the Saints are going to look to hold this one back, see if they can't get the possession one more time before heading into the half. We'll see if they can put another touchdown on the board. Moreland's got to go to work. Spread set. Low snap. Pressured. Has to roll to his right. Tucks it. And he'll get dragged down from behind, well short of the first down.
for the Sparkplugs. On the 41-yard line.
It looks like Coach Clampett is keeping the offense on the field. Not necessarily a do-or-die moment, but with under 2 minutes left, down by 21. Not much to lose here. So it'll be 4th and 3. And we'll have a timeout.
Timeout. Speedway.
Mentioned some of the size that the Saints bring to the table, and was mentioning their offensive tackles. Rayshawn McCaney and Logan Knerk. Wonder if Kurt Clampett might be in attendance tonight. The Hoosiers, the 6-0 Indiana Hoosiers, are off tomorrow. They have a bye week. One of the more surprising stories in college football, but if you look at Coach Clampett's history, what he did at James Madison and now here, down in Bloomington, complete change. Purdue's going to give it a go against Illinois tomorrow. The Boilermakers having a tough start to their season. Lots of talk of up there in West Lafayette what to do with that coaching situation. But right now, I want to say it's hard to call it the Big Ten anymore. It feels like the Big 37. How many teams? USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington now entering. But the big matchup is tomorrow night. Now the Buckeyes versus the Ducks. That's a good matchup anytime you hear that, but now that it's an actual conference game, the reparations of that game is huge. Let's see what the offense can do here on 4th and 3. What did Shane Clampett dial up? Play clock under 20. Moreland saw something he didn't like, and the Saints looked like they were showing blitz. Now man in motion, that's Smith. Straight up the middle. Did he get it? It'll be close. And this is all going to be based on where they place this football. And Moreland may have come up short. I mean, it's worth a look to bring out the chains. Well, they won't even do that, so they'll just switch the fields. Turnover on downs. And it'll be 1st and 10 on the Sparkplugs 44-yard line. And the Saints have 1:24 to work with to see if they can put some more points on the board entering half. Willis drops back, fires over the middle, wide open and untouched. That didn't take long. Those are the junior, TJ Clark. He gets his 4th touchdown of the season. And extra point pending for a 28-point lead. And the lead extends to 28, 35-7. And 1:14 left here in the first half. Now it's real, at this point, it's interpersonal strength for these student athletes. The Saints have proven to be more physical. They're bigger, they're faster. But are you stronger deep down? You still have 25 minutes of football to play. You want to send these fans home on a positive note. It's going to be hard to come back down 4 touchdowns to Dave Pasch's back-to-back-to-back state champions. But what heart do you have left in you? We'll see it from the Sparkplugs. That ball will find the end zone once again. Dax Locklear, just a junior, and you don't talk much about kickers at the high school level, but what we've seen already from number 2 is that he might get looks from a couple of the bigger schools, especially here in state. He's really put a boot on the ball for his kickoffs, and when he does his extra points, he looks like he can hit them. That ball in and out of the hands. Terrence Bennell, just a sophomore. That stops the clock, and not sure that's what you want to do here. We'll just kind of grind it out. But the Saints do have timeouts left, so we'll see what everybody dials up here. Will Dave Pasch put on the brakes? History says no. Low snap. Tried again. Moreland got out of it. Has to retreat, throws it to the sideline. And out of bounds. Intended for Coleman, but out of bounds. So that'll stop the clock with just over a minute. 3rd and 10. And the Saints might get this football back if they get a stop here. Five receivers set. Moreland in the gun. Low snap again. Over the middle. And penalty marker on the field. See what the penalty was. It's against Speedway. And they decide to decline it. Just over 54 ticks left in this first half. And the clock is running. We'll probably have to reset this. Also, Speedway used their 3rd and final timeout. Put a few seconds back on the clock, so an even 57. Lutheran Saints up 35-7 in the final game here at Johnson Field. 1963 through 2024, 61 years of memories throughout this entire complex. Not just on the football field, the track as well. But you think about so much more than that. Just what it's been around, as this field was here when every Indianapolis 500 from 63 through now has happened. Some of those memorable moments just down the road from here. NASCAR races, community events throughout Speedway for 61 years of history. this field a big part of it. Doesn't always have to be filled to think of the memories behind it. And after tonight, that'll be the last of it. There'll be plenty of motion being held back once the final whistle blows in this one, regardless of the outcome. But right now, on a football standpoint, the Saints didn't want to say they were sleepwalking through the first couple minutes, but they have really showed what kind of football team they have and have scored 28 unanswered points here for a 28-point lead. And they could get the football back, and they've already proven that they can throw the big strike, so they may get, if possible, another touchdown. But we've seen the leg of Dax Locklear, and he may be able to put one on maybe from about 40 out. Both teams are ready to go at it. Speedway breaks the huddle. It'll be 4th and 3. Sparkplugs need this, because if they don't, turnover on downs, and the Saints will have probably about 45 seconds to work with to get in the end zone or a field goal. Here we go. Snap is low. Moreland into the flat. That's complete. And out of bounds it goes, but not before a first down. Seldom used, but Jack Elder out of the backfield. Able to corral it in and get to the 40. 1st and 10, 51 seconds left. Just can't afford a turnover. Low snap. Moreland moves up in the pocket. Complete. Penalty on the play. This one's probably coming back. I'll move this back 10. So 1st and 20. Offense will take it again. Spread set. 5 receivers. Moreland in the backfield by himself. Here's a snap. Looking far side. Rolls to his right. It's complete. Terrence Bennell. J-Ron. That was J-Ron Smith on that completion. Oh, roughing the passer. That's 15 yards. Moving up the unconventional way. Just under 37 ticks left in the first half. This will push the Sparkplugs past midfield. Do the Sparkplugs have a quick strike in them? Just about 37 seconds left. Moreland in the pocket. Now he has to roll to his right. Fires down the sideline. It's complete. Trying to break a tackle up to about the 22-yard line. J-Ron Smith once again. And the Sparkplugs will hurry. And with 21.8 left on the clock, the whistle blew. I thought that the Sparkplugs were out of timeouts. I don't know why Dave Pash would call a timeout there. So they were on the move, and Moreland was able to spike it. So after the spike, it'll be 2nd and 10, my mistake. Again, spread formation. 5 receivers, Moreland in the backfield by himself. Delay of game assessed to Speedway. Move them back 5 more yards. Be 2nd and 15. That starts the clock. And it's pretty much do or die here right now. Final play of the half. Moreland breaks the pocket. He's got to hustle. And double zeros. That'll be it. And after a 7-7 tie, 28 unanswered points from the Lutheran Saints to give them a 35-7 lead heading into half for the final home game at Johnson Field here in Speedway. We'll be back. Here's a halftime performance from the 501 Regiment. You're watching Speedway Sparkplugs football on SCTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Speedway 500 Regiment halftime performance. The opening song this evening will be Speak Up Mambo, followed by Never Gonna Give You Up, and then the Speedway High School fight song. Drum majors are Sabrina Fettmeyer, Sam Goodman, and Angie Hill. Field captains are Alistar Kurtz and Rock Sturgeon. Color guard captains are Lynn Straub and Evelyn Henshaw. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy our halftime performance. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's varsity football home game with Lutheran High School marks the final contest on Ralph Johnson Field. A cornerstone of Speedway High School since the first game on September 6, 1963. For 61 years, this field has been more than a place for football. It's been a gathering spot for the community and a venue of science, determination, and growth. Coach Ralph Johnson, for whom this field was named, started the Speedway football program in 1940, initially fielding a six-man team. By 1944, Speedway had transitioned to an 11-man squad, and under Johnson's leadership from 1940 to 1973, his teams won 241 games, 12 Marion County titles, and 12 Mid-State Conference championships. Johnson's profound impact earned him a spot in the Indiana Football Coaches Hall of Fame after his retirement in 1973. In the 51 seasons since Coach Johnson's retirement, Speedway football has continued his legacy. The Sparkplugs have added 2 more Mid-State titles, 5 West Coast Conference championships, 8 sectional titles, and 3 regional championships. As of this evening, the program has 528 wins, 279 losses, and 6 ties. 2 coaches, Ralph Johnson and Denny Pelly, are Hall of Famers, and 13 players have been inducted into the Speedway Hall of Fame. As we look to the future, major upgrades to our facilities are planned. This includes new field turf, new track, spectator seating, improved lighting, and modern locker room and concession amenities. The renovated field facilities are scheduled to be completed by late summer of next year, allowing athletic teams, youth, and music programs access for performances and competitions. The Sparkplugs are set to host their first game at this new facility in August of 2025. As we gather for this final game on Ralph Johnson Field, let's honor the legacy of those who competed here. Please join us in celebrating Speedway football's tradition and the lasting memories created on this historic field. At this time, we invite any former Speedway football players and athletes to come to midfield for one final Sparkplug team picture. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnson Field, Speedway football. Let's give a big round of applause. What a great spot.
Basketball games in the past.
Speedway High School is proud to have Select Physical Therapy as a sports medicine provider. Athletic department coaches and players would like to thank team presenters.
Good evening, football fans. My name is Tom Smith. I am here along with Ron Probst. You may have seen us on basketball games in the past, but this year we're interviewing seniors on our football team. Spend a little time with them and pick their brain a little bit about what's going on and what their future is going to look like. And I'll begin. Go ahead and tell them your name, your favorite class, and why it's your favorite class.
Okay. My name's Timdayo Ezekiel Omali. My favorite class is AP Calculus. And first of all, I love math. And second of all, because of the teacher, Mr. Brasswater, the way he explains things and like makes it very easy for me to like grasp and understand what we're learning in class.
Talk to us a little bit about, let me ask this question. When did you come to Speedway Schools? What year were you?
I moved here 2019, joined Speedway Schools 2020, 7th grade. I joined on January. That's when I started school here.
Okay. You've been in Speedway Schools for, let's say, 5 years now. Tell me something that you like, that you appreciate about the school system, and something you say, boy, if I could change something, here's what it would be.
I really love that I can go to anyone in the school and like be able to like talk about something I might need help with. And I also really love the food. That's like one big thing for me. And then one thing I might find might be bad, maybe not bad for the school, but kind of for me, because most of the things we communicate in school here are by email. And I'm really bad at checking my email sometimes. So most of the times I miss some important stuff and I'm like rushing to get them done.
Okay, so you're going to correct that bad thing
Yeah.
the rest of this senior year by checking your email more often, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Education-based athletics, Nick. Things that you learn through athletics. Do you play other sports, by the way?
Yep.
What else, other sports do you play?
I also did wrestling and track and field.
Okay, so wrestling, track and field, and football. Things that you learn something in one of those sports, or more than one, that you know that you'll be able to carry on the rest of your life, whether you're married or whether you're in a job situation, some skill or some aspect of an athletic event that you're going to take with you the rest of your life.
I think the biggest one for me would be that there's nothing wrong with admitting that you need help with something, come to a coach. To talk about them that you're struggling with this, struggling with that, and that you might need a little bit more time, you might need a little bit more guidance on this subject or topic, or this play or about to run, something like that.
You know what, we've been doing this for about 20 years, and I think that's the first time we ever had that type of answer. It's really, they're all good answers, but that's a really good one. You're captain of the team, right?
Yep.
Leadership. Have your coaches talked to you about being a good leader?
Yep, yeah.
What's something that they have told you, again, along the lines of things that you'll be able to do when you get out of school about leadership, what you need to do with the football team to be a good leader?
Since starting football here, I've kind of been like, at the start I was kind of like quiet, but getting more classes, the older classes, being junior or senior now, I've been told more and more to be able to voice my own opinions and tell people that this is the way things should be done. And when they're doing something wrong, like rein them in and tell them that this is how it needs to be done, for it to be done the right way, for everything to go the way it should. Like being able to voice that opinion out loud.
Sure.
Something that
Very
we
good.
talked about.
Very good.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot. Tonight, somebody said to you, if I started this sentence, you finish it. It's not how you handle.
It's not how you end the good things, it's how you ended the bad things.
Very good. You get an A on that too. Okay, we're going to go to college. Hopefully play football in college. I won't ask you what your first choice would be right now because it may not end up being the choice you finally make. But after college, what occupation do you think you'll head toward? And where might you settle for the rest of your life living?
So I plan to study mechanical engineering in college. So right now, one of my biggest plans is seeing how I can supersize that, like when I graduate college, like maybe start a company of my own that I can have all over the country. And I also plan want to travel a lot, so I feel like I'm gonna be everywhere.
Good.
For a little bit.
Good. Perfect answer. Very impressive.
Thanks, Zeke, and best of luck the rest of the year.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Smith with Speedway Parks and Recreation. I'm out here at Speedway High School's back parking lot to invite you to this year's Speedway Trunk or Treat. It will be held on Saturday, October 26, 2024, from 5 to 6:15 p.m. Please bring your little ghouls and goblins, princes and princesses, and heroes and heroines out for a fun trick-or-treating good time. We do still have some spaces available if you are a local group or business that would like to participate and enter your vehicle or space to decorate and pass out candy. You can email me at tsmith@speedway.in.gov for full details. We will also be having a pumpkin decorating contest. Bring your already decorated pumpkin out. We will have a space set up for the entries, and they will be voted on by our guests. The only rule is bring your own decorated pumpkin. Anything goes. It could be a real pumpkin that you carve. Maybe you want to paint the pumpkin. It could be a decorated plastic pumpkin or something homemade. The participants in Trunk or Treat will also be vying for our top 3 trophies for best decorated space. So don't miss out on this year's fun trick-or-treating good time at Speedway High School's back parking lot, put on by Speedway Parks and Recreation. We look forward to you joining us and having a spooktacular good time at this year's Speedway Trunk or Treat.
On the corner of Lyndhurst and West 25th for the final evening. It's October 11th. It's 2024. And right now, it doesn't look good for the Speedway Sparkplugs, down 35-7 to back-to-back state champions, Lutheran Saints. But a lot of emotion on this field this evening. It's been kind of a whirlwind week for a lot of the administrators, a lot of student athletes who have walked in and out of these halls, and just what this field has meant over the past 61 years, not only to Speedway High School, but to the community. And with the Sparkplugs down 28, I have 4 student athletes in the booth with me who I think Coach Clampett might want to suit up before this one's over because they look like they can put the pads back on and help this team out. I'm here with 4 of the original members of the 1963 Speedway Sparkplugs. I'm with Bob Maple, Glenn Curtis, Pat Murphy, and Tom Tyler. And right now on the headsets, I have Glenn Curtis, who is the where were you a shotgun guy, Glenn, or were you under center?
No, under center. We didn't have a shotgun.
Okay, so we'll put that aside. And then we have Bob Maple, and the significance to here is Bob's got a great story, is that we saw Jazz Coleman scamper in for 7 early in the first quarter there. But that may have been the last touchdown. We hope we see a few more, but there was the first one scored by Mr. Bob Maple back in 1963. Bob, do you remember that play? Can you run us through what that was?
I got to be honest with you, I don't remember anything except that we were so excited about being on this new field. And at that time, our stadium was a state-of-the-art. And nobody had a stadium better than this. And we were all excited. Now, Glenn was really the key to our offense. I mean, he was the type of quarterback that when we ran a sweep or a power play, he was out leading the blocking, which quarterbacks didn't do too much.
Okay.
So And then we got Pat Murphy who's on the line, and our line was just great. You know, well, they would get out there and make the blocks, and Tom Tyler's fullback. So if that probably was a power play, and, you know, Tyler and Curtis would be leading it, and our guards would be pulling, and the tackles like Pat would be holding the line. So it really wasn't me as much as a team effort.
Well, that's what happens. You got to put 11 out there, and all 11 need to work in sync. Not one guy can do it, but that's a great story, Bob. And just to think, and Glenn and Bob, let's go not just to the first touchdown, but this game was very significant because not only the first win, but it came down to the final seconds. You two connected on the winning touchdown.
And we didn't want to lose. Not the first game on this field.
No.
And
do you remember who the opponent was?
Plainfield.
Plainfield, okay.
Yeah.
So let's you mentioned that, you know, say they are facility, everything that has happened. What have you guys seen just through the community? You've been kind of walking the sidelines, seeing the crowd, seeing everything like that. Is this very reminiscent of how that first game was for you when, as young student athletes, you turn around, you see the crowds full, they're cheering, the cheerleaders are all going, the band's getting ready to go. Is this kind of have that same feeling, bring back to that 1963 season?
Yes, it is, and one of the things that I'm really glad about is how many football players there is. It was like that when we played. I've been here in years past where there wasn't that many on the sideline. So Coach is doing a great job.
It's been great to see that, you know, they took that group picture out on the field, and a lot of the former players. Coach Clampett, who's leading his Sparkplugs right now, a former member of the Sparkplugs football team as a quarterback himself. And was there, let's see, Bob, you're a halfback. You look shifty. So was there a specific play that you always liked to run because you knew you had to help a Pat on the line and then Tom leading you through that I formation out of the backfield?
Well, we really liked running. I liked running the powers or the sweeps. I wasn't that good up the middle. I wasn't very big, but we had some guys like Tom, and he was our leading scorer that year because when we got down and scored a point or got close, they just ran Tom right up the middle.
That downhill running, just put that helmet down and go right in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's football, and you know, I'm a big football enthusiast, and you kind of look at the NFL now and colleges now, everything's spread out. It's all Wildcat. It's just, where has power football gone? And it still proves to be the most effective when teams run it correctly. You have quarterbacks who are running for their lives, and it's almost like a video game. But you guys did it the right way. You did it the tough way because you did it in all sorts of elements. You didn't have the different kind of, things to enhance the game experience. But you look at this stadium now, and it's taken its wear and tear on the field. But what matters is what goes on between those hashtags. And can you guys, do you get a sense when you're looking out here, you're being up in this booth, kind of being on the opposite side of everything, do you guys still get that feeling that, man, I'd love to be out there and doing it again? Or are the fingers hurt, the knees hurt, and the shoulders are popping left and right?
Still got good memories. But I'd like to mention we had the best coaches, Ralph Johnson, Bill Clark, and Jim Crumley. You couldn't ask for anything more. And they taught us well, and we weren't big, but they did it for us. Maybe
not big in size, but big in the heart. They taught you guys to be astounding young men. That's a lot of what these coaches do here now. Dan Maple has come in since the athletic director just under a few years and has really kind of turned the mindset around that, football, it'll eventually be over, but it's what you do outside of the walls once you graduate, once you go on from there. And a lot of these student athletes are going to succeed just like you guys have.
Yeah.
So that's a good sight to see.
What I'm really happy at, though, is how Speedway is a community school and how they do academically. I mean, there's no school in the whole state with the mix of people that we have here that's ranked in the top 10.
Top seven in the state, yep.
And that's a testimony to the community.
And that's what being a great student athlete is. You have a lot of athletes out there who can razzle and dazzle on a Friday night. They may end up at a bigger school, an IU, a Purdue, a Notre Dame and do that on Saturday. The chances of getting to the NFL, almost next to none. Lots of great athletes, but there's a lot of great jobs out there, a lot of services and things that people need throughout their lives, and it's people like yourselves who do that on a daily basis, so we're grateful for that. So, Bob, Glenn, any closing remarks? We want to be sure we get Pat and Tom on here so they can talk about the dirty work inside the trenches and all that good kind of stuff.
It's good to come back and see them play, even though the score is not too good, but they're trying.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to play for 48 minutes.
Yeah,
and they're out there playing as hard as they can. That's all you can ask.
Glenn Curtis and Bob Maple. Glenn, thank you so much, former quarterback. Bob, thank you so much. First touchdown, and they connected on the game-winning touchdown back in 1963 for Speedway's first win. Thank you guys so much. We're going to get Pat Murphy and Tom Tyler on the headsets here. And it looks like we're ready to go. Tom, you ready there? Can you hear me? All right, I hear you. And Pat? Yep. Want to bring that microphone just a little bit closer? There.
Sorry.
There we go. All right, so with Pat Murphy, guard, Tom Tyler, fullback. You guys, sometimes it doesn't always score up in the score sheet. The names don't always appear in the box score, but you guys so integral to any part of any offense, but not just what goes on, again, in between the markers on the field. Leadership. You know, you always hear about the fullbacks and the offensive line, the guys who take charge, because you guys are that charge. You got to go up against the 6'7", 270-pound guy straight up the middle, and he's talking about pulling blocks and that big defensive end coming right in your eyeball socket. What drove you guys to take those positions, to know that that's such an important part of winning football?
Well, from my perspective, it was basically what I'd been doing for several years. I mean, I'd always played on the line or a defensive end position. Playing that when I was a senior was a really fortunate thing for me. We had 3 really good classes lined up back to back to back. Ours, Tom Smith's class, and then Mike Short's class. All were really, really good and talented. We had really good players in every position, offensively and defensively. When I was a senior, we had really good leaders like Glenn and this guy next to me here, Tom Tyler, that held people accountable for what they were supposed to do. We had known each other forever. We could get on each other if we needed to. We could compliment each other if we needed to. It was a family. I mean, that's what it was. When we get out there, I'll be honest with you, it was fun listening to the people in the stands, knowing they were cheering, but you're playing for your teammates, and you're playing for them, and that's really what motivated me more than anything else.
Pat, I want to bring up a point that you just brought up, is holding players accountable. It seems, and I've done a lot of games in my day, both on basketball, soccer, football, whatever it is that high school kids kind of have a little intimidation in order to speak up at some levels, maybe because it's their class, maybe a freshman who's very, very good and who could lead a team doesn't want to step up, or the seniors know that they're clearing out and they don't want to help the guy behind them because who knows, that spot could be theirs. How did you guys maneuver through that?
From my perspective, it was not that difficult. Tom knows I was a pretty quiet person around class, and my personality was that way, but on the football field, that wasn't the case. If I had to say something to somebody, I did. I had great teammates around me that would do the same thing. Dave Huffman, Dave Wills, Mike Hackett. I could go on and on and on. Tom, Bill Shields, Bob. One of the things I think that made us as good as we were when we were seniors was the fact that we did have good captains, we did have good leaders, but every one of us could do that in terms of getting people to work harder, play tougher. We had good classes behind us that pushed us. I think as a group, sometimes you get the senior tough stuff that goes, we're going to intimidate these people because we don't want them taking our positions. I never really felt that was the way to get anything done. I had a good relationship with the sophomores on our team, the juniors on our team. If I had to hit one of them, I hit them. That was my job. But they were our teammates, just like seniors were. We competed against them at practice. When game came, it's time you put on the gold, the brown and gold, and you go out and you play and you beat the other team.
Pat Murphy, offensive guard for the original 1963 Speedway Sparkplugs. Let's turn it over to Tom Tyler, the fullback. Tom, maybe let's say we'll give you 9-10 touches out of the backfield in the flat, little passes here and there, getting those goal line stances, getting those 1-2 yard carries, putting that head down and whatnot. But it's really every fullback I think of through NFL days. So I think of the great fullbacks of college, that just the guy that so many people looked up to because of the toughness that you had to exhibit to everybody, but that you guys were tough. And so how did you embrace that role as the fullback of that team?
Well, I was the biggest person in the backfield at the time. We didn't have a whole lot of big guys back there, but I was the biggest one, and I did a lot of the blocking. And I loved to block. That was just something I liked to do. I was blessed with being able to do it, and I did it. We were so lucky to have Ralph Johnson as a coach. I mean, he was really the one that made all our football teams what they were. But I don't know. I basically my job was to run the ball up the middle, lead the sweeps around the ends, and occasionally catch a pass in the flats. And I loved it. We all loved it. And
so I ask you this based on some other fullbacks and what they do and what they accomplish as far as the stat line is concerned. So you have Bob racking up all the touchdowns to that halfback position, and then you get that one that let's call it a 12-yard little pass out into the flat. You cut the corner, you put it right in the end of the pylon. How exciting is it for you as a fullback not to get the tough yardage ones, the ones where it's first and goal at the 2, you got to put your head down and 10 guys who are 300 pounds in front of you to try to get that 1 yard, but you get that nice little athletic play out there. How much did that mean to you?
Oh, it meant a lot. It was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, our team was very balanced. We had a lot of players on our team that scored 3 or 4 or 5 touchdowns. I mean, it wasn't one person doing all the scoring. Bill Shields scored a lot. Bobby Maple scored a lot. Glenn scored some. I scored some. We had Steve Chappell, Tom Smith, Kenny Craig, Scott Neat, the younger players. I mean, it was a well-balanced team, and we played well, and it was probably the best team sport our class played.
And we only have the 2 headsets, and I just kind of want to get a group effort of this question, but when you guys look at the team now and the talent that's out there, and we know some of the names, we know J-Ron Smith, and we know Jazz Coleman, Moreland's, he's looked good, he's a big kid, but what are things that you guys see from a player, but now being able to watch from the sideline, what are some things that you see from the Sparkplug team that they can continue to build on moving forward into this new season next year at the new stadium? The athleticism?
Yeah. One thing that I notice more than anything else out here is that people ask me sometimes, how much difference is it between now and then? Well, you can't even answer that question. But the biggest thing I see more than anything else, it's not size or strength, it's quickness and speed. You're going to have kids get bigger, you're going to have kids get faster, but the strength and the quickness that team's got out there for the size of the people they got, that's a long way from what we were when we played. And I think that's the one thing when they had mentioned before about the number of kids that are out here. It's really good to see Speedway with a program the size of Speedway School to have this many kids out here that are dressing for the varsity football game. That really says a lot.
An enrollment of about 600 kids overall, and to have this just following is, I'm relatively new to the state of Indiana, but one of the first trips I made over here was to Speedway, more so for IMS because I'm a big racing fan, but then I started to learn kind of the background of Speedway High School and everything that's happened here, and the community following that from your days back in '63 up until now, and having these crowds show up. You have a back-to-back-to-back state champion on the other side of this field who is playing like that right now. And they may even loosen the wheels a little bit. You don't know. But the fact that these kids out here, these young student athletes are out here, the crowd is here, the band is still lively, the cheerleaders are still lively. You guys are here. You have other teammates who are here, all the people that came out on the field. It's really a showcase to what this Speedway community is all about. It's not necessarily Speedway High School. It's a community in general. But gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. Bob Maple, Glenn Curtis, Pat Murphy, Tom Tyler, guys, thank you so much. It's humbling for me to be able to have this opportunity with you four. Enjoy the rest of the game. We hope that you guys will come back the first game next year, see the new facility, and we'll get you guys back up here, and we'll let you see what it looked. Well, yeah, you'll see the start of 2 new stadiums. You saw the first erection of this one back in '63, and you'll see the new one in 2025. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the game, okay? Great stuff. From I'm just going to call them the original 4 horsemen because they're the only 4 players I know, but Tom, Pat, Glenn, and Bob, 4 just key components of the football operation: halfback, fullback, offensive lineman, and the quarterback. And here to support the Sparkplugs program in the final night of Ralph Johnson Field. You can hear in their voices and just the stories that they were telling how enthusiastic they were about the times that they played and the coaches they had, the friends that they had, the memories that they made. Gives me goosebumps, and I said it in that area. I'm not from this area, but you can feel it. There's going to be a lot more emotion. We're at a running clock now. You did see a touchdown there from Lutheran during that interview, but that much more important to hear those gentlemen's thoughts on the past, the present, and the future of the Sparkplugs program. I know everybody up here in the booth with me this evening is a lot of memories for themselves of this press box in general. I'm sure they'll be happy to see a new press box, but to leave Johnson Field and to go into a new facility next year will be exciting for them. I know the crew at SCTV, I'm sure they'll probably have more bandwidth to work with. So they're excited for that. I know he hasn't been tenured here too long, but Athletic Director Dan Maple will oversee the entire process of that new field. And you can see Moreland get taken down way in the backfield there on 4th down. That'll be a turnover on downs, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Saints on the Speedway 45. Hoping to get Dan Maple up here sometime between the 3rd and 4th quarter. And you can see it on your screens, it's a continuous clock after a 35-point advantage. And even if Speedway were to score, that clock would still continue to run. So the Saints will come back out up 42-7. They've had 35 unanswered points since it was 7-7. And straight up the middle. And they're just using that strength and size and speed to wear down that Sparkplugs defense. See some hands on hips, and players just tired. But that was something that all 4 of those players emphasized on, was seeing the representation of Speedway High School, just about an enrollment of 600 kids. Teacher to student ratio about 17-1. So they get a lot of close attention, which is the most important thing as a young student athlete. Some of these players will go on to play football at the next level, not necessarily Division I, but NAIA Division III, maybe some JUCOs out there. But that NFL target is so far and so hard to obtain. Even the best of the best at high school don't get there. So what these student athletes do in the classroom is so important. And Speedway, as you heard it mentioned, top 10, actually ranked number 7 in academics, not just in Indianapolis, but in the state of Indiana. That'll probably be the final play of the quarter. And that'll be it. And we will gear up for 12 more minutes of football for the final time at Ralph Johnson Field. The Lutheran Saints have come in here and really done what they were expected to do, up 42-7 against the Speedway Sparkplugs. A special thanks to the SCTV crew, Brian Pierce, Bill P., Zach Taylor, Ted Howlett, and Fernando Flores. Putting together a quality broadcast for the community of Speedway. Tight-knit community. And you can hear it. On camera shots showing the cheerleaders. Our flag bearers still doing their thing. Can you hear the band just to the right of us? And I don't know if it's hitting everybody yet, but the final 12 minutes of Ralph Johnson Field, at least in a football playing sense, are right on the horizon as we're getting ready for the start of the fourth quarter. Saints football just outside of the red zone on the 22. Just been a back and forth of how they've done it to you. The Lutheran Saints is on the ground, in the air. It was Jackson Willis who, as a southpaw, just lofting and dropping dimes into the hands of his receivers. And then there was the 85-yard touchdown completion over the middle to L.J. Ward. He caught it after about 6 yards and then took off the other 79 with speed. Sparkplugs trying to hold 3rd and 3 for the Saints. Willis, little floater into the end zone, got it. 6 more for the Saints on another beautifully placed ball from the senior quarterback, Jackson Willis. Having a night. So pending the extra points, 48-7. Dax Locklear has been busy this evening. And the kick is up, and it's good. 42-point advantage for the visiting Lutheran Saints over the Speedway Sparkplugs. The final home game at Ralph Johnson Stadium. 61 years of memories. Athletes, administrators, regular students, community members, just everybody. A nice mesh of people here tonight. Even those that aren't here have shared memories at this field. But a good one is coming, we can promise you that. Our crew at SCTV will be throughout the process doing some documentation on the building of the new stadium. 2,500 seat capacity, new synthetic turf, brand new lighting system, concessions. It is going to be one top-notch facility and a place where it belongs, Speedway, Indiana. I'm John Natali, and it's my final broadcast here at Johnson Field, and hopefully I'll be able to share in the opening of the new one in 2025, and even me, not an Indiana native and not from the area Speedway, but even I can feel it in my gut. I've got the emotions I know just from the stories I've heard from the 4 athletes that we had up here just a few moments ago, talking with Dan Maple and his history here with how far back he goes, talking with Coach Clampett, being a member of this football team and how he's leading the football team, talking with Brian Pierce up in Noblesville now, but he knows the community. He runs the community television, so he's well aware of what goes on here. And just about 10 minutes left before we got to close up shop. And maybe the last call for $3 hamburgers at Johnson Field. We'll see what kind of concessions they bring in next year. But everything will be top class here at Speedway. And there's been renovations just throughout the entire campus. Here's a run up the middle. Still playing hard football. Jazz Coleman with the carry. I don't know if our camera can see it. Just in the background of the football field towards our left side of the visiting bleachers, you can see the soccer field there, and the girls are in the championship match tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock against the Roncalli Royals. A 7-0 victory over the Beech Grove Hornets yesterday to push them into that final. Roncalli was, I believe, 10-0 or 9-0 over Indian Creek. It was a throw down the seam and just in and out of the hands. Terrence Bunnell couldn't get under it, put his hands out, couldn't get a paw on it. Oh, no call pass interference on that, so it's... And they'll move it the unconventional way. But the girls sit at 11-6 on the season. Boys, unfortunately, ousted this past Monday in their sectional game. But Coach Dean Havlin, his son Joey, the place kicker for these Sparkplugs, just a junior. He'll see another year. Dean will have his team ready to go in 2025. Basketball steadily approaching. Just a couple weeks out. It'll be first the volleyball and soccer sectionals, and those will be your first 2 state finals. And then football will take over. And basketball is kind of on a hiatus for a little bit until football's done, because so many athletes participate in both football and basketball, so they wait until the season's completely over to really get going on the hardwood. And in the backfield, dropped immediately, is Jazz Coleman. And it's no secret that even though football is extremely popular, high school football here in Indiana, basketball is king, and that's what everybody's anticipating coming up for the 2024-25 season. Speedway just put a whole new speaker system inside their gym, have the LED scores table board, so steady improvements inside, and there are rumors that there possibly could be a facility down the line. That's not guaranteed, but something could be in the works a few years out. be home probably to both volleyball and basketball. So not trying to get too crazy as Shane Clampett sends out his punting unit. Down 49-7, coming up on 6 minutes left. Low line drive, takes a bounce at the half line, and will roll out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Saints will take over. We'll see what Coach Dave Pash wants to do here. Up 42 points, under 6 minutes. How important is 50 points to his staff and his players? But if Sparkplugs want to not lose by that margin, they'll put the hard hats on and try to make a stop here in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter. Starters are and he will bring out his backup quarterback, number 12, Mason Schrum. A junior. Another kid with good size, 6'2". Looks a little lighter than Willis. But Willis, what a game he had. And we will stop the clock. Injured player on the field. .425 left of actual football. Left on the slate. See that the timeline was painted on the fields on both the right and left sides of the field, closest to us, near side. 1963 through 2024, 61 years of memories poured into the stadium. And each and every person here probably has their own different story to tell. Some share the same story, but everybody has their own. And everybody here tonight can say that they saw the last snap of football here at Johnson Field.
Second and 5 for the Saints on the 46-yard line.
So we're back underway, 2nd and 5. The Saints 46-yard line. Schrum now in the gun. Hand off straight up the middle. Head down.
Brought down by number 3, Jeff Coleman. 8-yard gain on the play. 1st and 10 for the Saints on the 47-yard line.
Good enough for a first down on the Sparkplug side of the field. Be 1st and 10 from their 47. Four receivers set. And hand off straight up the middle. Braylon Widner, the sophomore, getting some carries late in this one. Just a sophomore. This season we'll see DeMarco Wilson graduate, Jackson Willis. Those two could ride off into the sunset with quite a trophy case by the end of their high school careers. again want to take one more opportunity to thank the entire crew at SCTV. Brian Pierce, our producer, Bill P., Zach Taylor, Ted Howlett, and Fernando Flores helping out tonight as they've done all season long and have done a fantastic job. And bringing the community Sparkplugs football all home season long, but for the final time tonight on this October 11th. They'll sign off and they'll get into the meeting rooms themselves and get ready for high school basketball for Sparkplugs boys and girls. Approaching 1 minute left in this one. And off straight up the middle. Also want to thank our sponsors, Janko's Hollinger Racing, Speedway Lions Club, and American Legion Post 500 for all their continued support through this football season. And of course, what they do just throughout the community themselves outside of football games. First and 10. Victory formation. And we're coming up on 30 seconds. And the players line up. And it's not even going to get to the horn. So for the final time, the Speedway Sparkplugs take the 50-yard line and handshake their opponent. And we'll just kind of let this one breathe a little bit as we approach the final seconds. And for the final time, there is the final horn here at Ralph Johnson Stadium. Sorry, I got myself a little emotional there. Ralph Johnson Stadium. 61 years of memories, and it ends tonight. Unfortunately, on the losing end, 49-7 to a very good Lutheran Saints team, and Dave Pash has those young student athletes ready to go. They're looking for their 4th consecutive state title. Shane Clampett will take his student athletes to the end zone and give them a final pep talk for the last time in that end zone. And for the final time on SCTV, we'll sign off. I'm John Natali. Again, want to thank Brian Pierce, Bill P., Zach Taylor, Ted Howlett, Fernando Flores, and the rest of the Speedway community. Everybody up in the press box for your help. Everybody down on the sideline, all the volunteers, all the fans that showed up. Lutheran Saints for coming out. It's a beautiful sight, but 2025, it'll be even prettier with a brand new facility. Fans, I'm John Natali for the final time, signing off from Speedway. It's Lutheran Saints 49, Speedway Sparkplugs 7. Have a great night, everybody.